It's been a while since the last video, and I've been really busy behind the scenes working on some cool stuff, but I'm glad that I was able to finally put some time to sit down and marathon another label. This time around, we're going to be listening to every song on Rushdown, and I say we because today I have a friend of mine who will be helping me out in this video. Everyone say hi to Silver Skies, also known as Nathan. He comes alternating Tuesdays.
Hey everyone, I'm super glad to be here. I'll be helping Duality go over some fun facts and history about Rushdown. I've been a fan of the label ever since one of my friends, Paper Skies, released his song Cosmos with Capri. It's been a cool experience watching the label grow both in fan base and the roster. If you don't know me, I'm a producer and I was in the 2019 Monstercat Mix Contest. I was also a special guest in the 2020 Mix Contest. I'm here today because I'm the one who approached Duality about this idea. He knew about Rushdown prior, but didn't really follow it closely until I mentioned doing a video on them.
So as y'all might be familiar with these label marathon videos, we'll be diving into what the label is about, giving our thoughts on listening experiences listening to the discography, and all the while sprinkling some fun facts about the label throughout the video. So buckle up, cause we're about to get started.
As per the bass music fandom page, Rushdown is an independent label founded by Harvey Thompson, more known as Chime, in 2016. The releases on the label primarily compose of melodic rhythm and other types of dubstep. These all fall in the term coined by Chime himself, known as color bass. When Rushdown started off back in 2016, the label had a much more playful and casual branding to it, each artwork having a small cartoon of the artist. They debuted back in April 2016 with their Rushdown Assemble Volume 1 compilation. Throughout the year of 2016, they went on to release 35 tracks from 14 different artists, including a remix EP from Chime and a 9-track LP from Bullseye.
It wasn't until the end of 2016, after releasing the track Voltairic's Cluster, where the recognizable current art design and the first instance of color base were termed. Starting from LoneMoon's Solstice EP, the tracks would begin to be tagged by #colorbase, and to this day, Rushdown has maintained its consistency with the artworks and melodically charged tracks. Starting off, the label had a lot more diversity in genre and tempo ranging, from glitch hop to house, drum and bass, and of course dubstep. As the years went on, the signature sound and subgenre of dubstep that has become a recognizable staple in the label had begun to take shape, and while dubstep is now the main genre that is showcased, you can still find other genres in the newer compilations released in 2020.
Let's run some numbers. In 2016, there were 35 tracks released among 14 artists. In 2017, there were 17 tracks released with 5 new artists. 2018 brought in 16 new tracks and 5 new artists. 49 new tracks in 2019 with 19 new artists, and 2020 rolling in with its biggest year with currently 49 new tracks, 24 new artists, and more music still to come. But as it stands, Rushdown is sitting on a comfortable catalog of 167 songs under their belt. 2020 has been a big year for melodic dubstep and color bass. The growing popularity of the genre has brought labels to release more quote-unquote color bass and melodic rhythm, like the Afterlife compilation on Disciple and the Dawn compilation on Subsidia. This has only shown that there is an ever-growing demand for melodic dubstep and rhythm especially, and Rushdown has been able to meet and exceed that demand with their strong lineup of artists as well as great scouting for new artist talent.
When listening through the discography, I felt like I was listening through the passage of artists figuring out their sound. Early on, what defined the tracks the most was by their tempo, but as more artists were signed onto the label, you could really hear the sounds that they would start to hone in on and focus. I've had my issues with labels that focus on a specific genre, and so when I was going to marathon Rushdown, I was slightly hesitant that I would get burnt out from listening to so much melodic dubstep. But I think one thing that prevented that from happening as I got to the more recent year releases was that expanding your focus into melodics expands your reach and creativity very broadly. Now, if we're going to discuss artists, we may as well drop some fun artist stats. As we usually do in these videos, I like to compile and count every time an artist has appeared on a track, the number of releases they had, number of features, albums, and remixes. So if we're going to talk about the artist that released the most, it should come with no surprise that the owner of the label, Chime, would appear the most on the label. Chime takes the crown with 36 appearances, 16 unique track releases, and 4 albums, including remix EPs.
At this rate, if you put the entire Rushdown discography on shuffle, you have a 21% chance that the track will somewhere have Chime accredited. In regards to appearances, the leaderboards go down as follows. LoneMoon in second with 17 appearances, similar Outskirts and Modus tied in third with 13 appearances each, Bullseye with 11 appearances in fourth place, and on screen will be an extended list for anyone who wants to pause. In unique tracks, similar Outskirts and Modus are once again tied in second with 12 tracks, and LoneMoon comes in third with 10 tracks, and again a screenshot with an extended list. There have been 11 different artists that have been credited as features, and everyone is tied. Chime, LoneMoon, Millennial Trash, Greg G, Austin Vocals, Loudar, Got, Sky Roses, Brave, Christian Hayward, and Miss Lena. For albums, LoneMoon and similar Outskirts come tied in second with 2 albums, and below is a list of everyone else who has released an album. And lastly, for remixes, Chime, Bullseye, Beatcore, and Datamosh come tied with 2 remixes, and below is a list of everyone else on the label who has released a remix.
So overall, a solid collection of artists and songs. 2020 has seen a lot of success for the artists on the label, and even though they might not be the biggest collective or label out there, it's definitely a solid group of producers which have done their job to fill a niche of melodic dubstep that I don't think too many artists have been focusing on a lot. And maybe I'm biased, but I like that the peeps over at Rushdown know how to spell color the proper way. Before we end off the video, we're gonna finish up with the final bunch of stats, and that's all about keys and BPMs. Nathan here was very helpful in figuring out the keys and tempos.
The most popular BPM on the label, unsurprisingly, is 150, and averaging all BPMs on the label brings you to 145 BPM. As for the keys, the most popular key, again unsurprisingly, is F minor, making up 24% of the tracks on the label, but only beating out E minor by 1 song, which in the end means that E minor takes up 23.4% of the label. The shortest and second longest song on the label both go to Modus, with their tracks Turning Point coming in at 1 minute and 3 seconds, and Oblivion featuring Greg G and Austin Vocals coming in at 6 minutes and 14 seconds. The average length of a track on Rushdown comes to 3 minutes and 59 seconds. This means if we wanted to find the most average track on Rushdown, an F minor track at 150 BPM, with a length of 359, we get the Dance Demand remix of Pixel Perfect by Chime.
In conclusion, if you have yourself 11 hours, 9 minutes, and 5 seconds to spare, you have enough time to listen to the entire Rushdown discography. Now, before we end off the video, I think it would be fun to actually tell the story of how we got here.
Do you want to play a game or something? Kinda bored.
I'm in VC right now playing Sonic Heroes. Forces, I mean. Perhaps another time.
Yee. Have fun.
You too.
Oh, you know what would be fun?
Hello.
A Rushdown discography mash.
You press